What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome to the WARFRAME video. So, a couple months ago, I made a video about unnecessary staggers on these explosive weapons and how they're really annoying. It was basically a suggestion for the new WARFRAME Revised update that we should be getting sometime soon, hopefully. So, before they shoot that out, I want to make sure that I get some additional videos out on suggestions on how to make the game a little bit more fresh, without having to really change too much as far as like making new content, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to be going over some trash mods today, and just like talking about like how they could easily just make the game more interesting, make builds more exciting, and just open some new possibilities for potential modding. Because a lot of the modding stuff is just figured out at this point. It's either going to be like a full status build, a full crit build, a hybrid build, like a utility weapon with no mod, like all that kind of stuff. It's pretty much figured out at this point. And if you look at these mods that we have available to us, a lot of them are complete garbage. And a couple, like last year, honestly, there was this mod called Magnum Force, which was a terrible mod. And it's still like not the best mod in the game, but they made this a lot more useful last year. It was like they only buffed this corrupted mod, and it made people actually consider using it. Like, I'll sometimes just use this on like a beam weapon here and there. They made it, I believe it was a rank 5 mod before, that would go up to like 60%, 80% damage, and they made it go up to 165% damage with 55% reduced accuracy. So if you take a look at these like corrupted mods, I think just searching minus should bring it up. Maybe not. Okay, so there's these corrupted mods that come from the corrupted vaults. So here's one right here. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So if we start buffing trash mods like Hollow Point, which will give you reduced overall damage, but plus critical damage. If you start buffing mods like this, it will make builds open up in possibilities. Because the way this one works out is that it's just not strong enough to ever be useful. I don't think I have this mod ranked up. No one ever uses this who's min-maxing, and it's just not worth using at all. And this comes from the corrupted vaults. If you look at the corrupted mods, a lot of them are really, really bad. At least the ones for weapons. All the ones for warframes, like Blind Rage, like Fleeting Expertise, like Narrow-Minded, Overextended, those are all, like, honestly, those are staple mods for every, like, pumped up build for warframes. But you look at these weapon ones, a lot of them are not used a lot. The main ones that are used are like Heavy Caliber. I'm trying to think, like, a lot of people use Vile Acceleration, Anemic Agility, like the fire rate ones. Those are pretty good. But look at this minus fire rate. This is the fire rate one for shotguns. The problem with this one is that it doesn't really have that much value to it for momentum. So maybe buff that one up a little bit. Although shotguns don't really need as much fire rate, to be honest. But yeah, so buff up Hollow Point, buff up Critical Deceleration. What's the other one? There's one called Critical Delay, I believe it's called. That one's pretty bad too. And it gives you reduced fire rate. Now, if it was strong enough to actually slot in, that would be really nice. I know some people do like Critical Delay, but me personally, as someone that like definitely wants to get the most bang for my buck out of my build, I'm not even considering it. So here it is maxed out. 48% critical chance with minus 36% fire rate. That's a corrupted gold mod. If you look at Point Strike, which is a common mod, it's 150% with no reduced fire rate. For the same, like, it's the same cost of a mod, like, point-wise. So, yeah, you could definitely buff up the Hollow Point, or whatever that mod is called, Critical Deceleration. And I'd say all the corrupted critical mods could use a buff. So, that one's trash. As you can see right there, Point Strike just, like, it's 4 times the stats, basically. Well, 3 times the stats for the same mod capacity and no reduced DPS. Creeping Bullseye, another one, exactly like I'm saying. We have a corrupted critical chance mod with 187%, or not, it's a primed critical chance mod, 187% critical chance, and this one, which is almost as much mod capacity at 9 versus 12, gives you 48% critical chance and minus 36% fire rate. So you buff this up, honestly, like, make it so strong, or like so much crit chance, that I'm actually considering if I want to run this on my build. And I know we usually run Lethal Torrent on our builds, which gives you additional fire rate, so it would offset this. So it's just something to keep in mind, that these mods can open up the game being fun to people, because a big part of this game is messing with your builds, finding things that you think are fun. And I'm not saying if you find the trash versions of these mods already fun, I'm not saying that's like the wrong thing to do. Like, there's no wrong way to have fun, at least to a certain extent. But if you just make these stronger, overall, more people will care. Let's look at the critical damage ones as well. All right, and then of course we can go into more. There's a couple more steps we can go here as well. So hollow point is trash. I don't know if I don't think there is a critical damage one for the corrupted here. Actually, now that I look at it, maybe add a new corrupted mod for primaries and for shotguns and for primaries. You know, maybe that could be interesting to some people. I don't know why there's only a pistol one. I actually did not notice that until just now. And then like some of the other ones, like I guess Spoiled Strike is fine, honestly, where it's going to give you 100% damage. Like, people will use that on like stat sticks. Maybe you might use it on a heavy attack build, but negative attack speed's terrible on melees. So, all right, there's that. Let's go over some other things. So there's definitely some trash mods in this game. Usually if you sort by duplicates, you can see. So some of these mods, like Razor Shot, which is just like a physical damage mod, basically like a noob trap. Here's a better example. Every new player gets this mod right here, Sawtooth Clip. Or maybe you'll get Fletchet for your shotgun, which gives you increased puncture damage. These are never worth it. There's the gold versions that give you more damage, or they give you more more physical damage, but these low-level noob ones, these are just like a noob trap, basically. They serve no other purpose. No one's going to ever use Rupture, which is, I think it's like 30% impact at max rank. No. So maybe buff some of these up. Honestly, maybe just outright remove them. I would love to see a statistic of how many people are actually using mods like Rupture, Fletchet, Flame Repellent, plus heat damage, plus heat resistance. How many people are actually using that, okay? Like, we might as well just remove these from the game. Look how many drop locations they have. That's like 10 drop locations right there. And that's eating up like good drops out of these enemies. DE probably wants that a little bit just because they don't want every drop to be a good one. You know what I mean? So honestly, just like they could just go through all these mods. Look at how many Magazine Warp has. At least Magazine Warp is some stats that potentially someone could run, I guess. But look how many drop locations that's got. That's actually funny. I think that actually comes from a rotational reward on some defense missions. So obviously mods like Fatal Attraction, which is an ability mod for your Sentinel, you're not going to remove that. But like No Return plus puncture damage for a pistol. We have mods nowadays like the Saxo mod set, which is like it's a complete opposite of what we're looking at here. So right here, this is what these kind of mods should be like. Plus impact damage, plus status chance, and then also got the set bonus where enemies explode on death. We have this kind of mod, and then we're looking at the same thing, but a third of the effectiveness, and it does not have the status chance or the set bonus. So those mods should at least have a reason to exist. No one's using them. The game would be better off without them. And if you want to keep them around, give them a reason to stick around, in my opinion. So I could just go over every trash mod in this game, but there's just too many of them. So, yeah, I think there's actually a mod that still has channeling in it, to be honest. So Perpetual Agony's fine. Like the stuff that's marginally, like, potentially useful, definitely don't remove that. Maybe consider buffing it, like, you know, like Heavy Impact. Does anyone still use Heavy Impact? I don't use Heavy Impact. I think I actually used to use it a long time ago, but yeah, concussion rounds. A lot of those IPS mods are just terrible. And status chance on lifted enemies increased. That could probably use like a tripling in stats, because lifted enemies is kind of like a gimmick that no one really uses that much, unfortunately. Provoked, I mean, it's funny. It's definitely funny. That's a rank 10. What? Provoked is a rank 10? I've never looked at that until just now. So, okay, maybe double the damage on Provoked, or just remove it, I guess. So yeah, things like, you see what I'm trying to say here, guys, is this kind of stuff is, there's forgotten mods that no one, I guarantee hardly anyone, like maybe like 0.005% of people use. And then like, I don't know if I have any flawed mods sitting around. Here we go. So this is another thing that potentially, I mean, they did a new player, air quotes, new player experience a couple months ago where they replaced the starting quest with some new thing on Cetus and put that cinematic in the game. These are another noob trap. Just like Shredder and like Fletchet and all those trash mods that aren't useful, these these flawed mods right here are just a waste of endo and resources. And you, like as you can see right here, for 5 points you can get flawed enemy radar, if you even got it as a noob. And then you look at the normal version, 25 enemy radar at level 3. And it's, I mean, like, the unranked one probably is stronger, honestly. No, the unranked one isn't stronger, to be fair. I mean, no. Okay, so it's level 3, and it gives you 12 enemy radar. And the level 3 version of this is... I don't know if these should exist, honestly. Like, now I'm looking at this, like, you can actually... I don't think you get flawed enemy sense anymore. And it might actually be worth it in, like, the most niche of niche situations. But honestly, just, like, maybe it's already hard enough to get into this game as is for these new players. Maybe smooth it over a little bit, in my opinion, and potentially remove these flawed mods. Because, I mean, anytime I talk to a new player or streamer on about the game, and they're like, I'm trying to help them out, I'm like, all right, no, don't level that up. Level up this one. All right, put the elemental mods on, get corrosive. It's really hard to get someone to stumble upon actually getting a good build set up at the early game, and removing the flawed mod just seems like a helpful push in the right direction. As you can see right here, here's a noob trap mod right here, 60% puncture. You're going to be using 600 endo and 30,000 credits, which as a new player is probably a lot more. It seems a lot more than it would be to us. So that's my suggestions. Buff or remove some terrible mods. Also, corrupted mods could use a big touch up. The Magnum Force buff last year was very, very nice, and I feel like you shouldn't stop there. Buffing Hollow Point, buffing Critical Delay, all that kind of stuff. It's going to make the game more fun and make build crafting fun for people that, maybe they don't like this only the most meta stuff ever. But making those mods stronger, where it's reduced fire rate and all that, which does reduce your DPS, but giving you like the chance of seeing orange crits and red crits when you wouldn't normally, that's just fun for the players that like that kind of stuff, including me. I don't have to always just be running one-shot, Shadow AoE, like blow up the entire room instantly kind of stuff. Although I do run that quite often, to be fair. Alright guys, hopefully you found this video helpful. If you do feel this way, the same way I do, I mean, I've been talking in the Discord with people, and people on Discord actually gave me this idea for this video, and I do appreciate that because I thought it was a really good idea. Yeah, let me know in the comments down below. If you... okay, alright, here's if you got this far in the video, here's a challenge for you. Name the worst mod in the game. It does not have to be the worst corrupted mod in the game. Name your least favorite or worst mod in the game. And yes, Flame Repellent might actually be it. I believe Warm Coat's also really, really bad too. That one might be the... okay, if you can beat Warm Coat, you get a cookie, alright? I will be looking for the worst mod in the description if I remember what it is. But if you can beat Warm Coat, good job. If you got this far and you can't think of one that's better than Warm Coat, just say Warm Coat. Alright guys, take it easy. Talk to you next time. Peace.